My name is Krista Ochieng, and as you can tell, I'm not from here. I'm actually from Alaska. And I have the privilege of working as a mentor in my community. I've recently started my own business as a cake designer, and I am a mom of 2 little girls. And my husband, Victor, and I have been married for 5 years. He's from Kenya, so we met in the middle here, and I met him while I was serving as a missionary in Paris, France. So it's been quite a journey, and having children has turned that completely upside down. And I'm here to talk about finding confidence in motherhood. I always said that I would never have children. I'm the oldest of 4 children, and as a result, I always sort of got stuck taking care of my younger siblings, and I thought, this is a nightmare. Why would anyone sign up for this? But now here I am with 2 girls, less than 2 years apart, and wow, they are so sweet. They have these cheeks that sit on their shoulders, and just these big smiles and these little teeth, and at the same time, they drive me absolutely nuts. They just literally bring me to my knees because I'm so tired. So motherhood, it's been one of the most humbling, exciting, exhausting, terrifying, joyful experiences of my life, and I'm only 2.5 years into it. I mean, some of you have been doing this for like 30 or 40 years, so you're just looking at me like, wow, you don't even know what's coming. I know. So thank you. My oldest daughter, Felgona, she's 2.5, and when I was pregnant with her, I found out that I actually had twins. So Felgona was meant to be a twin, and I lost that baby quite early on in my pregnancy, and that just set me on edge. I was crying every day. I couldn't accept the fact that I was pregnant with Felgona because they told me, you're probably going to lose her as well, but let's just wait and see. And so every morning I'm consulting Google. Google's making me cry. My husband's telling me, get off of Google. It was just this cycle that I was stuck in. And then towards the end of my pregnancy, she just completely stopped moving. And so I went to the hospital thinking, they're going to make her move. I'm going to be home in like 3 hours, and then she'll be born in a couple weeks. And I get to the hospital, and they tell me, you're not leaving the hospital, you're being induced. So I said, I'm not being induced. I have a plan, a birth plan. And in my plan, this is going to be a natural birth. It's going to be peaceful. There's going to be soft lighting and music. I'm not being induced. And she's like, no, if you want your baby to survive, you're being induced. And so that sobered me up and brought me back to reality that I'm not actually in control of the situation. And they induced me, and 26 hours and an emergency C-section later, Felgona's born. And when they first take her and they put her on my chest, she just pees on me. And I hadn't slept for 2 nights, and I was thinking, what have we just done? This was not how it was supposed to be. Motherhood wasn't supposed to start this way. There's supposed to be classical music playing right now that makes my baby smart. I'm supposed to look like the royal family and Kate standing outside getting a picture with an expensive dress and nice hair. Like, this isn't what I was expecting. Now, the labor and delivery, it was really traumatic for me. And I have a history of depression, and so I expected that I was going to get the baby blues. I was ready for that. But I was really thrown off by how hard and how fast I got hit by postpartum depression. I felt like I was spiraling out of control. I felt overwhelmed, invisible, afraid, exhausted, hungry, lonely, anxious, and I felt so misunderstood. And I was putting this pressure on myself to be who I was before and function as I had before, and it was making me even more sad and even more miserable, and I was so afraid. I couldn't stop thinking, what if I die? What if the baby dies? What if Victor dies? And I would sit in the shower and I'd cry, and I'd sit in the park and I would cry, and I couldn't stop crying, and I was thinking, this isn't me. I hate this. I hate motherhood. I hate being a mother. Like, I don't love this baby. She's here, so I'm going to take care of her, but I can't even call myself a mom. People are like, don't you love your baby? And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't love her at all. And that made me feel even more guilty. And I remember sitting with my husband in a cafe, and we were just talking about, how I felt and how I felt completely out of control. And I just stopped to think. I was like, well, what does the Bible say about motherhood? I hadn't actually thought about that. I was so traumatized in such a dark place by everything going on. And I went on Google. Dr. Google has all the answers. And there's a scripture in Isaiah 40:11 that says, God, He gently leads those who have young. And that sentence completely changed my perspective. It wasn't like magic, but it gave me something to think about, something to meditate on, to work towards. I thought that he gets it. God gets it. He understands how absolutely, positively mental it is being a mother and having young kids. He knows he has to tell us, like, he leads all of us gently. But mothers need to know, like, you, mother, I gently lead you. Why are you being so hard on yourself? Why are you being so cruel to yourself? Why are you setting such unrealistic expectations? It's already tough. Why do I make this harder for myself? God gently leads us. Whether you're a mother or not a mother, there's things going on in our lives that are challenging, maybe not today or yesterday or tomorrow, but we all come to that crossroad where we feel like this is too much. God gently leads us. Finally, I made a friend. I made a mom friend, as I call them. And I made another mom friend and another one. And I realized we're all more or less going through the same thing. And just understanding that I'm not alone. There's other women around me, that God gently leads me. That was so empowering. It really built my confidence. And I got to a place where I actually said, I'm going to be okay. And I looked at my baby and I was like, we're going to be okay. We're going to get through this. And then 22 months later, I had another baby. I had another little girl named Joelle. She was born 9 months ago in September, and that was a completely different birthing experience, thank God. But Joelle did a lot of damage to my body. I've gotten to see specialists that I didn't even know existed. After you give birth to a baby, you bleed. I just stopped bleeding a month ago. I've been bleeding for 8 months since I've had this baby. And I've really struggled with my body, with my self-image, with just feeling ugly. And I've never been super thin. I've never been someone where I felt like I need to look a certain way or dress a certain way or be a certain size. I've always sort of walked to the beat of my own drum. But this has really made me insecure. I just think, I'm so ugly, I'm so this, I'm so that, and then I'm afraid of what people are thinking of me. I'm like, people probably think I'm sitting around eating donuts all day, and it just gets me down again into that spiral, and I thought, no, I can't do this. I can't go there again. God is gently leading me. I can do my best and be kind myself. God is leading me. Why am I getting so bogged down? There is no ideal motherhood, right? There's no ideal life. Let's demystify that. I mean, we see that on Instagram, but we all know that's not real by this point. And having a baby and a toddler at the same time has made me learn that I can't get my confidence from being a super mom. And whatever stage of motherhood you're in, whether you have teens or empty nesters or you're a grandmother, it's constantly changing. We can't get our security from our children, right? Our worth doesn't come from the size of our clothes. Our value and our security don't come from a paycheck, from our grades, from our health, job titles, having perfect children, having an ideal marriage. Those things are constantly changing. My children, my body, they're constantly changing. And for me, the fight right now is fighting to make peace with the fact that God gently leads me, make peace with motherhood, make peace that my life is completely different, it's going to constantly change. I want to rest confidently knowing that God gently leads me. And I want all of you to leave here today confident, whether you're a mother, not a mother, young, more mature, confident that God gently leads you as well. Thank you so much.